Hi everyone, I'm Sara Rana. I use she, her pronouns. I work with CCEJ in the Building Bridges Department, and I'm in charge of residential leadership. And I have been with CCEJ a little over a year and a month.
Awesome. Hey everyone, this is Kathleah, she, her, hers. I'm the director of Building Bridges for Youth at CCEJ, and I am in my 5th year, I believe. So January will be 5 years at the organization.
Kathleah, what is something that brings you to youth work? Why is working with youth important to you?
Thanks for that, Jesse. So I am formerly a teacher, and so I knew the work that I wanted to do coming out of college was to work with young people. And I had the fortunate opportunity to start volunteering with CCEJ and get involved. And I think what really brings me to the work is wanting, I think we have a lot of conversations around, we want to invest in youth because they're the future, they're the leaders of tomorrow, but I'm really interested in engaging with youth work and youth leadership for today, right? And like validating their experiences now, validating their voices now, and having them be a part of larger conversations that oftentimes I feel like they're left out of. And so I think it's just been really important to engage with young folks in that way and let them know that, the adults don't have all the answers. We need everyone doing this work, right? So that's part of why I'm invested in this work.
Yeah, similar to Kathleen, definitely feel that we need to invest more in youth and really want to like uphold their voices, their opinions, their thoughts, and just in general, I personally, selfishly get so much energy, get so much happiness working with youth, and I find myself learning more from them oftentimes than they may get from me. So just like super thankful that I get to work with people that are not afraid to ask questions, not afraid to speak their mind. And do like acknowledge like areas of growth that they have within themselves, and to be part of that journey with the youth in our community is just it's a very rewarding experience. One of the things, and again, I've been with CCJ for a little over a year now, but one of the things that sticks in my mind and that I always go back to is we did a camp in February. Seems so long ago now, but we did a camp in February around racial justice. And there was a student there who I had gone to their school and helped to like talk about the camp and the program and how it would help with like leadership and all of that. But I had a youth come up and just tell me thank you. Thank you for coming to our school. Thank you for talking about this. Thank you for there was like scholarships involved with the student coming to camp. And so the fact that the student didn't really know me except for the fact that I had come to their school, but that taking the time out personally and saying, thank you for coming, thank you for letting me be here. I don't have anyone I can talk to about these things. And just saying like I want to come back, and not just wanting to come back, but saying I am coming back to this space. And so for me, that is something just very, very touching that, I didn't have, there were so many people in play to make camp happen, to make those scholarships possible. So it was a beautiful moment to know that a 3-day camp had that much impact on a student.
I think for me, what I'm reflecting on is so we did our Summer Youth Leadership Institute online, first time ever, which is beautiful. And I really appreciated, we had some young folks who had been a part of the program last year who had some concerns, right? And were really real with us about what their concerns were. And so the fact that they were able to kind of voice that to us, I think demonstrated a lot of trust that I didn't know, I hope is always there, but the fact that they were able to reach out, the fact that we were able to have a conversation just shows, right, that there is a level of trust that I think is beautiful to build in youth adult partnerships. And then going through our summer program, there was a lot of conversation, right, around everything that's happening right now with the uprisings, with just all the injustices that we're witnessing, especially over this past summer, and how that's impacting our work. And I know that this space is huge for our young people in terms of building community and having a space where, like Sada said, where folks can really talk about these things that they don't normally get to talk about. And one particular young person that went through our program recently shared that them coming to this work was a lot around, you know, doing it through anger, doing it through rage, which I feel like there's importance in having those feelings, importance in having anger in the work. But after they experienced the Summer Youth Leadership Institute, they really shared how they learned to sustain the work through love, right? How do we sustain the work through community and love, and not let rage just be the only thing, right? Because if we only allow that to happen, then that could potentially destroy us, right? And destroy our efforts. So that was a lesson that I took from one of our young people in reminding us, right, that we need to come to this work and sustain it through love, through community and connection, because that's what's going to move us forward.
Beautiful. I have two more questions. So the first is, are there examples of alumni from the program that you've seen this program impact over time? I know a lot of the work that we do is with youth in middle school and high school, and sometimes they come once to camp and that might have been their first and most impactful experience. But for those alumni that you hear from after they graduate, after they move on in life, what do you hear from them about the ways that CCEJ's Building Bridges program helps shape their worldview or helps them grow as people or in their lives, in their careers, that kind of thing?
So one of the things that I find just amazing is that you know, you do have people that enter CCJ at different points. So with Building Bridges, that could be with the camps or in the schools with conscious classrooms or real resiliency or any of the clubs that we have. And so one of the things that I think is just speaks volumes is when youth come to programs as participants and then want to come back as volunteers, and with either the camps or the school programs. And when I say volunteering, with CCEJ, those people who choose to volunteer with us, not just for that program, but they're going through like a whole year's worth of training. And so they're very dedicated to the process, to the experience, to upholding spaces for other youth, for other people. And so what is amazing to me is people genuinely giving their time and heart to this work. As you know, what's going on in our communities, in our nation, and around the world, there's a lot of harm and hurt that's happening. But these people dedicate their time to healing people, to healing spaces, to healing wounds that we may have. And so what's amazing to me is people who are graduating from high school, who are still in high school, who've graduated college, are continually deciding to stay engaged in the work. And again, it's all volunteering. And so it's really, I mean, it just speaks volumes that people are re-engaged in programming, not just as a participant, but volunteers. And one of the things that's really neat about Building Bridges is we have generations involved within our programs. So it's not just youth volunteers, we also have adult volunteers. We have families that volunteer together in different programs. And so you have this cross-generational thing happening. And so it's just really beautiful. And to me, it just speaks volumes that people continue to stay engaged because, you know, they believe in the work, they are passionate about it. And also it's a space where people can fully be themselves. And really, people do call CCEJ their home. People do call the programs like their space to reconnect with people. And so that's something to me that continually speaks volumes, is that people are still around years later.
Kathleen, I wonder, because we're recording this for Long Beach Gives, which is a day of giving. And of course, the stories you're sharing are true all year round, but especially today, we're hoping that people will support CCEJ. What are you looking forward to? What would people be supporting? What kind of things do you all on the Building Bridges team have in store with your volunteers and your youth for the upcoming year, given everything that's been going on with COVID and also the serious social issues that are happening in our country?
That's a small question. I think, this is a moment in time that is gonna, obviously has already left a lot of impact on folks. And so for folks to support us in this moment, right, is not just right now, it's the movement forward. It's us really bringing together young folks and adults committed to this work and figuring out how do we make our schools stronger and more united, right? How do we make our workplaces more inclusive and equitable? How do we do this work meaningfully and together? And so when folks are donating to CCEJ, either today, Long Beach Gives, or any other day, it's really about an investment, right, in community and conversations that maybe we don't always feel safe or brave enough to have, and we're trying to do that work, right? Trying to get those conversations going so that they can hopefully inform the ways that we interact with one another, so they can inform policy moving forward, so they can inform our decisions, right? And all these different social topics and issues. So I hope folks do donate today and every day to sustain this work, because this is definitely, something that needs to continue happening so we can be stronger together.